Welcome to NDZ, Niagara Discussion Zone, where the topic is anything and everything. This show is not politically correct and there are no safe spaces. We're honest, we speak our minds, and if you get offended, that's too bad. Consider this your only warning.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Caruso from NDZ. So, like I said last week, I was going to be starting a little podcast about paralegal segments about knowing your rights, all that fun stuff, any law questions that anybody may have. So today I have two of my colleagues, and these colleagues of mine, we also sit for the regional representative of OPA. So I'm the vice chair, we have the chair with me, and we also have the secretary with us today. So I think this is going to be a great segment that you all need to listen to. So I would like to introduce the chair. Ms. Chair, can you tell us your name and what your specialty is?
Hi, my name's Samantha Glass. I work for a law firm, Liebold and Nightingale, and I work with banks.
Wonderful. And how long have you been in this profession for?
Going on about 5 years now.
Perfect. And Mr. Secretary, can you tell us your full name and what do you practice?
Absolutely. It's Jordan Nieuwhof, and I tend to practice in civil litigation, working primarily with business owners, garage owners, and contractors. We also do a bit of employment law for the workers and employees.
And how long have you been practicing for?
We're practicing right now just under the 2-year mark.
Wonderful. And as for all my viewers knows, I recently became a paralegal back in November, so I'm still a baby here. So, currently I'm just practicing in POA, doing a little bit of small claims and human rights and landlord-tenant, but I plan to expand. So today we have an interesting topic. We're going to be discussing here what is a paralegal, because the problem right now is a lot of people are a little bit confused on what is a paralegal. What about you, Samantha or Jordan? Do you guys ever get that people coming up to you a little bit confused on what a paralegal really is?
Definitely. We get called legal assistants, law clerks, or the word para describes somebody who is paralyzed, which is not the case. We have very specific areas that we can deal in, and I'm going to let Jordan expand a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. No, building on what Samantha says there, the general public does not realize what a paralegal is at all. In fact, many of them, you watch the American television shows like Boston Legal, Suits, and they assume that a paralegal has to work under a lawyer. Well, that's not the case in our province here. A paralegal is an independent legal advocate that can represent your rights before the Ontario courts and before many of the tribunals here in this province. There's a wide scope of practice.
And that's absolutely true. But you know what? Suits is a great show. Who doesn't like Suits? So it's giving us a little bit of publicity, right?
Well, I like The Good Wife.
No, and you know what? In regards to our scope, and it's always changing. So we're always doing a lot more. And down the road, I'm hoping to get some family law, and I'm hoping to get some immigration. So we can actually practice in immigration currently, but only as appeals. So we cannot actually do the full immigration work just yet, which I think is wrong, eh, Samantha? I don't know about you or Jordan, what you guys think about that, but I think immigration we should be able to touch upon.
Definitely. Paralegals, they can do that. They're more than qualified to take on matters like that, and I don't see why they shouldn't have the ability or the right to do it. We have to provide access to justice, and this is one of the ways that we can do it.
And you know what? We're also, we have to get our CPD hours. We have to do 12 hours for the whole year. Jordan, what are the hours that we have to do?
Currently, it's set at 12 CPT hours, the exact same as what lawyers require for continued professional development hours.
So how many professional and substantive do we need to do?
Right now, we require 3 professional hours and 9 substantive hours through approved courses by the Law Society of Upper Canada. So you can't just take anything. It has to be approved by our regulatory body.
And Can I elaborate?
Yeah, go ahead, Samantha, because I want you to elaborate, and maybe you could tell us a little bit about
courses on top of schooling. So we already have either a degree or a diploma but these are additional courses in specialized areas. So for example, for me, I specialize in small claims court. I would go back and take courses that are primarily focused on small claims. And then the professional hours are mandated by the Law Society, and that would include things like, how to treat your clients, how to communicate, how to run a business, how to do accounting, and that protects the public because they're a regulator.
And Samantha, what I was saying earlier, if you can elaborate a little bit more in regards to your CPD that you put forward.
Oh, the CPD coming up?
Correct.
Okay, so we're having a CPD through the York Region Paralegal Network. It's this Thursday on the 23rd, and it actually focuses on professional hours. It's called Don't Fear the Audit, What to Expect, and it's for paralegals to obtain their professional hours. And again, we need to learn the rules, relearn the rules, be reminded of the rules that the Law Society has mandated us to know. And in turn, what that does is it regulates us and it protects the public.
Now,
it's very important that we do this. And, if people are interested, then they can come and check out the York Region Paralegal Network.
Now, in regards to your own business, for some people, even Jordan, I'm sure you can elaborate more too because of your own business. But what about in regards to practice? So we're very, very strict on audit. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah.
So, and we have to protect the client's documents. We have to make sure that everything is fine. So we are part of that profession of also protecting the public too.
I just want to say, if someone doesn't follow the rules of conduct, a complaint can be made to the Law Society, and the Law Society investigates it. And there is a Law Society tribunal. And that can also be found online if people are interested to look that up. There are many tribunals out there. But, paralegals are there to provide access to justice in many, many areas. 235 administrative tribunals, small claims court, some criminal offenses, POA. The sky's the limit. It's just people aren't aware of it.
And what about you, Jordan, with your business? How are you doing?
In which regard? Sorry, Tony.
So, no, in your business in regards to your practice management, how are you taking care of that?
Oh, yes, no, exactly. Practice management is done through subscription softwares. We have lock safes. We follow Law Society protocols to a T in regards to keeping confidentiality secured, in regards to ensuring that documents aren't leaked by any means. The software we use is some of the best in the industry. Certainly, we are very diligent in ensuring confidentiality, client privacy, as well as record management.
See, where I work currently at Legal Advocacy in St. Catharines, we use a program called Clio. And you know what? That's one of the amazing programs because not only does it protect the client and it stores all the information and you can access it anywhere, but you have to make sure you have your passwords and stuff like that. I find that to be an amazing program. I don't know if you guys used Clio before, but I don't know. I actually love the program.
No, you're right. I used Clio in the previous law firm I worked at. They were heavy endorsers into Clio because of its security, because of how simple it is to manage the practice, but as well as the benefits to the client, knowing that it's hacker-proof primarily. So it's a very good piece of software for practice management that certainly provides key security areas for the public. Clio is endorsed throughout the legal world, not among paralegals, but also among lawyers.
And what about you, Samantha? Are you using any special programs for yourself?
At our law firm, we use Time Matters and PC Law, and it works very similar to Clio. And again, you can access it from anywhere, but obviously with the consent of your client if someone else is using it in your office. But yes, it's very useful, and it manages things very well to keep things organized. And it's great. You have to have practice management software. There's no other way.
Oh, absolutely. Now, just turning things around a little bit. So, Samantha, if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, guess what? I want to be a paralegal. What advice do you have for them?
Okay, so I used to assist the placement coordinator at Humber College. And the advice that I always tell them, and I'm going to tell everybody else, is even whether you're in a 1-year program, a 4-year program, the best thing to do is to get a mentor right away. And people think it's funny. They're like, oh, I haven't even started school yet. It doesn't matter. The faster you get a mentor, the better for you, because this is a very hands-on field. What you learn in class may not be what you actually do in the field. It's just you're learning the law, but actually practicing and arguing the law is totally different. So I highly suggest mentorship.
And we need more hands-on for stuff like that one, because you're not going to learn this overnight.
Absolutely not.
And for my viewers out there, I want to let everybody know that Samantha has been alongside me from the day that I put my name forward to the paralegal school and Algonquin Academy that I went to. And I actually met Samantha at the Landlord and Tenant Board, which I was shocked because she was my Facebook friend. So just from there, just talking and building from there, I always asked her for just little things on Facebook here and there and some legal questions. She, helping me out when I'm writing my my assignments for class. She was always there to help me out. But even the honor to even meet her finally, just out of the blue, we were there for a school trip at the Landlord Tenant Board in Mississauga, and there she was. And I actually took her away from her client for a few moments to interview her, and she actually, we actually had a good time. So I just want to let everybody know that in regards to mentorship, she is correct. You need to get yourself a good mentor. And Samantha, I'm going to say this right here in front of everybody. You are my mentor. And every time I have a question, I always ask you, and you always give me the answer, or you try your best to find the answer. So thank you so much. And like I said, I classify you as one of my mentors.
Thank you.
And Jordan, what about you? What advice do you have for paralegal students or for anybody that wants to get into this profession?
For anybody that wants to get into the paralegal profession, I got to say, you got to dress appropriately. You got to be a professional. And really specifically, you got to take clients seriously. You got to be able to actively defend their positions before the court of law. It's not some sort of profession if you're timid, if you're quiet, if you can't fight the system in regards to advocating for your client. You may be best suited as a legal assistant or a law clerk versus a paralegal. It's most definitely a profession where you have to have a loud and active voice.
That's right. So being quiet is not going to get you anywhere.
No, exactly. Being quiet, like I said, you're better off being a legal assistant or a law clerk. Certainly the paralegal training is exceptional for both of those jobs. But to be a true paralegal, to be a true litigant, it's probably best that you have a very loud, a very clear voice, not afraid to make sure you defend the client fiercely before the court.
Perfect. Now, Jordan, I want to put the ball back in your court now, and then I'm going to get to Samantha. What made you to become a paralegal, and why?
Okay, ultimately, I chose paralegal because my goal is to become a lawyer, L1 licensed practitioner. Paralegal was a great way into the field to test out what areas of law I like, what areas of law I don't like. Ultimately, I can practice as a paralegal while going through law school. In order, from the time I come out of law school, I will have approximately 10 years of paralegal experience and be one of the best advocates out there. So I think it's a great starter program for anybody who wants to or thinking about a career as a lawyer, as well as a great stopping point for anybody who just wants to become a paralegal. But like I said, ultimately, I became a paralegal as an entryway to becoming a lawyer.
Excellent. And Samantha, what about you? What made you to become a paralegal, and why?
Well, originally, I was in human resources. I was also in marketing. And people kept saying to me, well, you like to argue. Why don't you argue in court? My parents, they run a property management business, and I was doing some landlord and tenant stuff for them. And I decided, okay, I'm going to eventually inherit the business. So why not get licensed so that I'm able to do so? So that's how it began. But similar to Jordan, I was in law school at the University of London, England, to become a lawyer, but have then decided that because of the potential expansion of practice into family law and other areas, I may not have to go that route. My ultimate goal is to actually become an adjudicator, preferably one of the tribunals, maybe the Landlord and Tenant Board or the Human Rights Tribunal.
That's amazing. No, that's very good. And myself, the reason I chose to get into this, because for the people that knows me here in Niagara Falls, that I have a loud voice. And I'm the type of guy that I want to make sure that somebody has the equal opportunity at the legal level, because a lot of people get scared. When you hear the word court, people get afraid. You know what I mean? So I'm the type of guy, you know what? You come to me with your problem. Now it's my problem. You can relax. Let me handle the situation now, and let me find the best alternative. So that's the way how I want to do it. And another issue too with me that I take this very seriously is, a lot, like Jordan was saying before, a lot of people are very timid. Don't be timid, this and that. But growing up, a lot of people, including myself, was even bullied. So why not give a voice to those that don't have a voice? So we're advocates, so we need to advocate for this. So I'm willing to take on all the hard, all the hard cases. Nothing's too hard for me, so I love learning. So that's the type of person that I am. But in regards to the scope of practice, I also looked into becoming a lawyer myself. But like Samantha said, what's the point if now they're expanding our scope? My number one push, and I'm going to be fighting this to the maximum that I can. I'm going to go directly to the Minister of Immigration. I'm going to take my matters to even the Supreme Court if I have to. Immigration should be part of our scope. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that happens. So that's one of the passion things that I have, and I have a lot of years of experience in immigration, and I have done a lot of work in immigration with my other jobs that I've done. So, yeah, so that's what I want to get into. Now, my advice for students is research, research, research. I'm sure Samantha and Jordan, you guys can agree with me on this one. Because schools are there for profit. They're there to make money off the students. That's just my opinion. People may disagree with me right now. The educators may disagree with me, but I'm going to say it how it is. They're going to tell you that you could get a job right away. Not true. They're going to tell you that when you have to do your co-op hours, you need to study underneath a paralegal or a lawyer. It's going to be very easy because they want students. No. I had to actually find somebody to take me on because everybody else didn't want me on. They didn't want students because they say that, if we take on a student, we have to focus on them a lot more. So it seems that they're too busy for students, which that needs to change right now. Because at the end of the day, this profession is always growing. At the end of the day, we need to take care of each other because that is what makes us a community. That's what makes us as colleagues, as taking care of each other. Samantha, what about you? Do you agree with this, that we should be taking care of each other and have our mentorships this way? Why is it that they're not taking too many students on?
I think some people are afraid of competition. I think that, all of the seasoned paralegals need to look at the students and say, okay, one day these students are going to take over our positions, or they're going to be helpful to us. And really, I think the goal here is we need to promote the profession, bring awareness to the public, so that there isn't that fear to the seasoned paralegals that, hey, this John Smith is going to be my competition. That's not the case. We need to make sure that the self-represented litigants are hiring a paralegal. That's what we're here for. We're here to provide access to justice. Hire a paralegal.
That's right. And you know what? And even in regards to students, I'm not here to give any shots to any of the senior seasoned paralegals that's been in the business for 25 or 30 years. But the fact of the matter is, it would make sense to get a fresh student right now because they have hands-on experience, they have book experience, they know what's going on. They were not grandfathered in like some others, you know what I mean? So these people have hands-on training. So
we can teach them properly now.
That's right.
If you're not taking on a student and showing them the correct way to do things now, and they come in without that mentorship, then we complain that they're not doing their job. We need to look at ourselves in the mirror. What could we have done better? And I think that, it's very important. Like, I've taken on students. I've taken them to court with me. I've brought them to my home office when I was in practice on my own. We cannot look at students as a threat. They're not.
That's right. What about you, Jordan? What's your intake on this?
Well, absolutely. I was very fortunate myself to be mentored by a very seasoned paralegal with over 20 years experience, when many of the other seasoned paralegals decided to, have no interest in me. This one particular paralegal did, and it has helped me to further my practice. Going further, if we look at what a mentor does and what the paralegal does, it's significantly important for the profession, for the public, that all paralegals help each other out, regardless of their status. If they've been practicing for 20 years or if they've been practicing for 2 years, ultimately we're there to help the public, and we can't help the public if we're not helping ourselves. So it's significantly important that seasoned paralegals help new paralegals in order for the entire profession to grow, as well as it to be a benefit to the public.
And that's amazing.
Sorry, I just want to add that the Law Society also offers a coaching and mentorship program. So if you become licensed and you have a question or you're not sure where to turn, go to the Law Society, because that's what they're there for. They offer that mentorship program. The organization OPA offers there's many people you can network and probably get a mentor there. And there's other options. There's many groups online that you can look to as well.
And I agree. And it's funny how you talked about OPA a little bit. So we have an association for paralegals. So I believe OPA is going to be doing some expansions for the mentoringship and all that kind of stuff. So it's amazing. So let's hope that we can join as one, even with the association by our side, that everything's going to work out very well. So
also students should get out to the CPDs. Like
that's right.
Now, there's a student membership that's free. They can come out to the CPDs that happen at the end of the month, and that is a great opportunity to meet people. And even if you're afraid to talk to them, a lot of them will come up to you. But try to go in there with an open mind and ask questions, right? And that gets you noticed.
Oh, absolutely. It's not only about the notice, it's about making a network. Because nowadays, it's about who you know. It doesn't matter what's on your resume nowadays, it's about who you know. And I hate to say it, that's how you get a job nowadays. It's about who you know. So if you're at these places, you're at these parties, you're at these events, you know what I mean? You're making that network, you're making that connection, you're going to be more personable. Of course, they're going to want you afterwards, so it's going to help you out in the long run. Now, moving near to the end, for Samantha, do you have any final words that you'd like to add?
So just a message to the public that if you have a legal problem, don't try to do it yourself. That's what paralegals are here for. So my recommendation to you would be to contact the Law Society Referral Service or contact a paralegal even for a 30-minute free consultation. Don't make the mistake in trying to do it yourself and having costly errors. Get the advice and hire a paralegal.
And Jordan, what about you? Do you have any final messages that you'd like to give out?
All right, well, just building on what Samantha said right there is I have experience jumping on board when a client starts the process of legal litigation and halfway through they decide to retain paralegal. It complicates the matters, and oftentimes they've already incriminated themselves, especially in a POA matter, to the point where it's difficult to reverse what was already done. So if you're not exactly confident or you're not exactly sure on how to proceed, do definitely contact a paralegal. It's less expensive in the end, and you haven't incriminated yourself. So overall, the process is more expedient, it's quicker, and chances of a better resolution. Leave it to the professional.
That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this time to thank you all very much for listening in. And I want to take this time to thank the chair of the regional committee, Samantha Glass. I would also like to take this time to thank Jordan for being the secretary of the regional committee, and for both of you for being on the show tonight. And
thank you, NDZ and Tony Caruso.
Thank you so much. And till next time, everybody, I look forward to having my two colleagues on here again. So till next time, everyone, thank you so much for listening, and take care.